Welcome to Innova Design, your top source for mastering marketing, creating personalized websites, and polishing the image of your own brand. We provide you with the best advice for succeeding in the digital world. Today, we're going to be talking about the cornerstones of content creation. Because on social media, it's crucial to create content that aligns with the identity of your brand. Whether that's on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, the most important thing for the foundational pillars of content creation is to adhere to a strategy, a plan written in advance, which allows you to stay consistent on social media platforms. Because if you're inconsistent, it's impossible to attract the market you aim to reach. But when you don't know what type of content to create, when you're unaware of what's important to produce, when you lack a plan, you lose your consistency. And we're going to create content once a week or once a month, then once every 6 months, and finally give up. And at that moment, the brand is no more. For our clients, our brand isn't alive. In order for our brand to stay alive, we should post at least one piece of content every 2 days. Firstly, what are content pillars? Content pillars, sometimes referred to as modules or themes, are the main topics that you or your brand will focus on social platforms. These topics should align with your niche and the interests of your target audience. Content pillars guide your process and make sure your content is always relevant and created with care and thought. How do you pick these pillars? Start by identifying your niche. Who is your target audience? What are your social media KPIs? And what's the problem you're solving? Of course, you're going to ask me, what does KPI mean? KPI is short for the key performance indicator. But when we're talking about social networking, KPIs are first and foremost the objectives or goals that you have set for your company on social media. What are the business objectives that we want to generate for the company? And with regard to sales and marketing, and in relation to the money that we invest, how much do we want to earn in return? How do you know that your marketing messages and campaigns are reaching the right people? What is the scope of this message? Reach is an umbrella term that refers to the shadow of people who come across your accounts and posts on social media. It also includes the potential shadow of people that your marketing message can reach. First, we're going to start by looking at the statistics on shadow followers. This is a crucial metric to track. The number of followers indicates how many accounts follow your brand. Each platform has its own version of followers or fans. These numbers can be found on your profile page. They can also be found in your social media management tools. Next, we're going to see the statistics on impressions. Impressions on social media are not the same as reach on social media. Impressions show how many times a message or profile has been seen. They do not distinguish between individual accounts, but total all views. So, an account can have the same message appear 4 times in a row in its newsfeed, which is equivalent to 4 impressions. Next, the reach of the message. On social media, the reach of a message shows the number of unique accounts that have seen your message. Returning to the previous example, if an account saw the message 4 times, the reach of a message is 1. The reach of a message tends to be analyzed in the same vein as the impressions of a message. Due to the differences we just highlighted, the reach of a message will likely be less than its impressions. For instance, a reach of 10 unique accounts can generate 50 impressions. Next, we consider web traffic statistics. Web traffic is a superior method to apprehend the performance of your message containing links to your website. For example, if you pay for a social media ad and include a link, you can ascertain how many people clicked on that link. It is also another reliable measure of campaign performance. This metric displays the number of times someone clicked on your social media account to visit one of your website pages. This information is readily available through Google Analytics or a website builder. Next, we have the share of voice, which is called ISOV. It indicates the degree of online visibility you have compared to your competitors. This data may not necessarily be available in native analytics tools. You have to choose the keywords, hashtags, or categories you'd like to focus on. For example, if you'd like to know about ISOV on coffee-related topics, you would deconstruct a site of hashtags and keywords to look at. There are a multitude of apps to find out if our hashtags are being used a lot by our customers. Next, we're going to look at the stats that are related to likes. You usually double tap a message to show how much you enjoyed the Instagram photo. Likes and favorites indicate that the account liked your app enough to interact with it. You can still see these numbers in your analysis. Then we have the mention. So mentions, we're talking about someone who's going to identify your business account or your brand. This can happen in a post, in a comment, or in a story, or directly through a DM. This metric isn't always tracked naturally. You may be able to find a social media monitoring tool, like quite a few apps, that track and know how many times your account and brand have been mentioned. According to a survey conducted by the Harris Poll on behalf of the Sprout Social, 55% of consumers discover brands on social media. Your brand is being talked about, whether you monitor it or not. To calculate your engagement indicator, use a brand keyword report to see how many times your brand is mentioned online, even if it's not officially tagged. After analyzing all your KPIs on your social networks, it's time to brain dump. Write down everything and anything, even if it seems a bit off topic at the beginning. So jot down all your ideas that you have in your head, that you want to create, that you want to share, all your messages. Jot it all down on a piece of paper. Also jot down all the feedback you've been able to glean from your KPIs, the analyses you've been able to find out, and thus, which are the messages, the videos that have worked less, etc. Next, we're going to identify the patterns. Using the ideas drawn from your previous brainstorming, see if you can notice any trends. This is how you'll start figuring out the crucial content themes, pillar by pillar, that you want to focus on. Analyze your KPI data so you can see what's working and what's not. Try dividing your pillars into 3 to 5 groups. The next step is to ask yourself questions. Here are some questions to ask yourself to help you define your pillars. What will add value to your audience? What makes you unique? What's working well at the moment? What are your competitors up to? What's the added value that you offer with your service or product to your customers? By asking yourself all these questions, it will help you build strong pillars because they'll answer these fundamental questions. When your customers see your message or campaign, they're going to be touched and receptive because you've answered their questions. Finally, I'm going to give you a little gift. We're going to see an example of 5 pillars on a hair blood mark. The first pillar would be to create a hair tutorial. The idea would be to create content every week where you will explain to your customers which products, which machines to use to take care of your hair. The idea behind this pillar is that your customers understand that you are a hair care expert because you give them free hair related advice, and why not subsequently buy your products that are hair care related. At the same time, it allows you to display your products on video. Then we will have a second pillar, which will be motivation. The idea would be to create content, videos where you will motivate customers to take care of their hair, their body, their health. This will allow you to broaden your audience, attract an audience that will feel close to you, and create a community that is not only related to the products, but also to the human side. Then we will have e-commerce image content created, a pretty refined, rather luxurious image of hair care. Then we'll have lifestyle content created. For example, you can have 2 models at the beach using your products while taking care of their hair to show that your product can be used in real life. That's interesting. Apple often does this in relation to making videos, where we don't just see the product, but we see more of a lifestyle. Products integrated into the lifestyle, which really allows to connect the customer to your product. Next, you should create content that will be related to your customers' reviews. So we tried to compile all the reviews, whether they're positive or negative, answer the questions. We create a pillar for that. And the last pillar would be care plus advice. So this is really an opening up of the subject. We will give advice of all kinds. It can be beauty advice, care advice, and then it will also allow you once again to expand your panel. Why not attract people who would have come first for beauty advice, and then we'll find out that you do hair care. There you have it. So I've given you 5 pillars for hair care. I hope you enjoyed it. And so if you listen to all the pillars that I've mentioned to you, that you stick to the letter, exactly the plan that I gave you, trust me, your sales are going to explode. You'll really see a real difference in your sales, because it's very important to create content that is uplifting. If you liked this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for the next video.